All right, fourth graders, it's Mrs. Brand. We are back, and it's time for the pre-test like we normally do at school. So if you have not done your pre-test yet, stop this video, go do it, come back, and then check the answers with me when you're done. Okay? All right, so let's go on with this. Amy and Michelle have 96 fence posts. They use 1/4 of the posts for the garden and the rest for their yard. How many posts did Amy and Michelle use for the garden? All right, so they have 96 fence posts. That's the first part we want to make sure we understand. And then it says that they used 1/4. So 1 out of every 4. When you think about that, you can think about that using that division, breaking it into 4 pieces, those 96 into 4. I'm just going to put some stack under there so it is better. There we go. So 96, and we're going to divide it into 4 sections. So we have our math problem here. How many 4s can we get out of 9? We can get 2. And remember the process: Dad, Mom, Sis, Bro, and Rover. And remember, Bro always goes back to Dad, and Sister always, if there's no Bro, we go to Rover. Okay, so if there's no Bro. Okay, so let's go through what that means. So we just did Dad. How many 4s can we get out of 9? We said 2. Dad's the only one allowed on the roof, so the division goes up on the roof. And then Mom. Mom is multiply. Roof times the door ends up on the floor. There's our answer, and then there's the floor. Sister, subtract. 9 minus 8 is 1. Brother, we have a brother. Brother's in town, so we bring him on down. And then we have how many 4s can we get out of 16? 4. Again, we go up to Dad here, so that goes on the roof. Roof times the door ends up on the floor. Sister, subtract, and we get 0 remainder. So 24 posts. Okay. Remember to label it. All right. 25% of the birds were starlings. What percent of the birds were not starlings? Remember, with percent means it's 100% complete. So when there's 100%, that means we have it all. So if we take that 25% from that 100, we're going to get 75%. Again, if we think about quarters, it's 4 quarters in $1. I have 1 quarter. How many more quarters do I need to get to that $1? You need 3 more, which is 75 cents. Okay. You can also cross out that 10, make it a 9, make that a 10 to do the subtraction. Okay. All right, number 3. Each salad is made with 4 tomatoes. How many tomatoes are needed to make 160 salads? So this one, we want to think, are we looking for a larger number or a smaller number? Each salad has 4 tomatoes. So if I have 1, I have 4 tomatoes. If I have 2, I have 8 tomatoes. So it looks like my numbers are going to go up. So if I have 160 salads, then I'm going to take that and I'm going to multiply it by 4 to show me how many tomatoes I'm going to need. So 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 6 is 24. Carry my 2. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 more is 6. So we need 640 tomatoes. Make sure you label your answers. If you can't see something, well, hopefully it's all going to come through nicely. All right. Estimating. Estimate the sum. Remember, sum is addition problem of these two numbers by rounding each number to the nearest 1,000 before adding. So I look at the number before it. I have 8 here. So when I look at rounding it, remember, if it's 5 or more, you can pump it up. So that's going to go to 6,000. This one's 7,200. Excuse me, 15. 2 is too small to do anything, so that 7's going to stay the same. And think about a number line. Is it closer to 7,000 or 8,000? Is it closer to 5,000 or 6,000? We add them together. We have 13,000. Okay. Next one. What is the value of 7 pennies, 2 dimes, 5 quarters, and 7 nickels? All right, write your answer using a dollar sign and decimal point. So I'm going to put my dollar sign and my decimal point there. 7 pennies. So 7 pennies is 7 cents or 0.07. 2 dimes is 20 cents or 0.20. 5 quarters is $1.25. And then 7 nickels are going to be 35 cents. That's the first thing you have to make sure of. Did you have these numbers right? Because if you don't have those numbers right, you're probably not going to get the right answer. So we're going to see 5 and 5 is 10, plus 7 is 17. Carry my 1, 2, 4, 6, 8. Put my decimal and 1, so you have $1.87. Remember, you can check it again if you want to. You can start with that quarters with $1.25, 25, and then those 7 nickels, 35, 45, 55, 65, 2 dimes, 75, 85, or 80, and then the 7 pennies. We'll get you that 187. Just check your work when you're doing that. Make sure that it's coming out the way you should. Okay. Second column. 1/5 of the salespeople earned commission. There were 60 salesperson in all. How many salespeople earned a commission? So we have 60 people, and we want 1/5 of them. So we want to divide that by 5. Remember, it's the denominator that tells us fifths. There's a 5th there, so it's divided by 5. How many 5s can I get out of 6? 1. 1 times 5 is 5. Sister subtract. Brother in town, so bring him on down. Now we go back up to the idea of dad. How many 5s can we get out of 10? We can get 2, put it on the roof. Roof times the door ends up on the floor. Sister subtract, we have 0 remainder, so 12 people. All right. When you're doing that too, remember you can check it by doing 12 times 5, and you should get 60 as your answer then. Okay, we can check our work by doing 12 times 5, and then we would get 60. And that should match that. If you're having a problem knowing what to do here after you have these sisters subtract and you bring your brother down, remember the idea that you can kind of think about doing this again. Okay, so if you put that there, every time you make a line for the floor, make another line over there to make it look like a roof. And then, oh yeah, I got to divide again. Okay, that might help you if you're having problems with that bring down thing. What number is indicated on the number line? Well, this is -5 and this is 0, so we're going up. Think about a thermometer. -5, -4, -3, -2, -1, 0. I make sure of what it's going up by. If I were going up like by 2s, well, that would be giving me a different answer. So that's why I did that, going -4, 3, 2, 1, 0. It made it so that I knew they were going up by 1s. So if we look again, 4, 3, 2, that's -2. Make sure you have that negative sign in front of it. All right, that's if it's temperature outside. If it's 2, we're still going out to recess. If it's -2, we're not going out to recess. So that negative makes a huge difference. All right, Doug has a pentagon and an octagon. What is the total number of sides on the 2 polygons? Well, a pentagon, remember, is like the pentagon we have in Washington, D.C., and that has 5 sides. So you have, remember, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, right? 1 for each group of the military. Plus the stop sign that we see all over the place, octo, that prefix, meaning 8, right? Like an octopus has 8 legs or tentacles. And so we have 8 plus 5. 8 plus 5 gives us 13. So we have 13 sides. All right. 13 sides. All right, next one is the line segment shown below is how many centimeters and how many millimeters. So how many centimeters? Well, it's at the edge. It starts at 0. So we can say how many centimeters goes all the way over to here, so that's 5 centimeters. And if I look at millimeters, I go straight up to here, and that tells me it's 50 millimeters. Because remember, there's 10 millimeters in every centimeter. So if I know it's 5 centimeters, then it's 50 millimeters. Okay, that's the front side. So flip the paper over. Let's look at the back. What is the perimeter of the rectangle? Oh, excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. All right, what is the perimeter of the rectangle? Perimeter, remember, is like a fence around the outside. Okay, we just want to know the outside area here, or the outside amount. So we have 6, 4, 6, 4. So if we have that 10 and 10, that makes 20 feet. 20 feet. What is the area of that rectangle? Area is the yard inside there, the little squares that we put. And I can actually do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I have 6 by 4, or 6 times 4, which gets us 24 square feet. Remember, with area, we want square feet. All right. So that area is multiplication. Perimeter is adding around the outsides. All right, so let's take a look at number 12. On number 12, we have addition. Just make sure you put your decimal point in the right place and your dollar sign over here. 6, then 11, carry my 1. Another 11, carry my 1. A 3, and 4 plus 2 is 6. I think the biggest concern there that comes is we're so used to doing multiplication that we sometimes forget to do addition when we have something like 4 and 2. We might end up doing 4 times 2, and that can be a problem. So make sure you double check your work when you're going through. When we're going to this next one, for $20 minus $18.56. I know because 20 minus 18 is around $2, so I know my answer has to be somewhere around that amount. So that's a good thing to start with. Now when we're going through this, remember you have zeros all over here. If there's more on the floor, go next door. They don't have anything, so we keep going until we find somebody who does. He has something to give us. So remember, you take 1 away, you break that 1 into 10, and that becomes a 10 there. Then you break that 1 apart, that becomes a 9, that becomes a 10. Again, you have to break it apart, that becomes a 9, that becomes a 10. When you have all those zeros like that, you definitely want to double check your work. I'll show you the shortcut in a minute. 10 minus 6 is 4. 9 minus 5 is 4. Decimal point, 9 minus 8 is 1. Dollar sign, $1.44. Now, the other thing you can do with these when you have that zeros all the way across, all right, you can change that whole thing, drop a penny to $19.99. Okay, it's just 1 penny less than that. And then when you do that, you're going to come up with 143, but you have to add that penny back in. You add that penny back in, then you're back to 144, just like this answer over here. Okay, so you can do it that way, but I would still recommend doing it this way, and then double check your answer. 4 plus 6 is 10, carry your 1. 9 plus 1 is 10, carry your 1. 8, 9, 10, carry your 1. 1 and 1 is 2. It equals $20. All right? All right, when we go to this one, we want to put our dollar sign and our decimal point. 3 and 4 is 12, carry my 1. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 more is 5. 4 and 3 is 12, so you get $12.52. $12.52. All right, up here, now parents might not remember this, or know this, but this is the way we do this. 32 times, here's your 3. Remember, drop your 0 off to the side. Bring your 0 down to here. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. So you get 960. If you don't like doing it that way, you can just take that 0 off, do 32 times 3. You're going to get the same number, and then bring that 0 and add it back onto there. Either way is just fine, but we're not doing it the 2-digit times 2-digit way yet. Okay? Number 16, 9 to the second power, or 9 squared. So we have 9 times 9. Remember, the big number is the only number we write down. The little number tells me how many times I need to write it down. So 9 times 9 is 81, minus the square root of 9. What times itself equals 9? So it's either going to be 1 times 1, 2 times 2, 3 times 3, 4 times 4. And 3 times 3 gives me 9. And so now I just need to do that subtraction problem. I have 81 minus 3. And when I do 81 minus 3, we get 78. All right, and you could just put that right there. That's fine. Or you can just leave this over here. Either one is fine. All right. 461 divided by 6. How many 6s? 4 can't answer the door. Remember, 4 is too little. You have to be older or equal to the age of the person standing at the door. So we have to have a buddy come with. So now we have 46. So now 6 goes into 46. How many times? 7. 7 times 6 is 42. Sisters subtract. We get 4. Brothers in town, so bring them on down. Then again, you got to think about it like this. How many 6s can you get out of 41? Well, you know you just had 7 equals 42, so it's just a little bit less than that, so we put a 6 up there. 6 times 6 is 36. Subtract, and we have 5 left over, so you have 76 with a remainder of 5. Check that your remainder is less than knocking at the door. Okay, should always be less than your divisor. 5 is less than 6, so that's a pretty good state to be at. All right, with 3 times 7 times 8, you can pick the ones that you multiply first. I'm just going to go right in order here. 3 times 7 is 21, times it by 8. 1 times 8 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16, so we have 168. 168. Okay. Decimal points, line them up, put them one underneath each other. So that 3 goes here, there's my decimal point, there's my 8. I don't have anything over here, so I'm going to put a 0 place value holder there. It's just like that. So now I don't have them in the wrong spots. 6 minus 0 is 6. More on the floor, so we need to go next door. Take 1 away, break it apart, add that 10 to what I already have. 11 minus 8 is 3. Decimal point, 4 minus 1 is, or 4 minus 3 is 1. 1.36, or 1 3600ths, if we're being mathematically correct in saying it. All right, one last problem for you. Find the missing factor 6s equals 96. 6s equals 96. Remember, when there's no space between a number and a letter, that indicates multiplication. So 6 times some number is going to give you 96. So we're going to start with the 96, because we know in fact families, if 6 times s equals 96, then 96 divided by s equals 6, or 96 divided by 6 equals s. So we're just going to use that fact family to help us. How many 6s can we get out of 9? 1. 1 times 6 is 6. Sister subtract, we get 3. Brothers in town, so bring them on down. How many 6s can we get out of 36? 6. Roof times the door ends up on the floor. Don't forget to draw your floor. Sister subtract, 0 remainder. So with that one, we end up with s equals 16. All right, and that's your pre-test. You have a test that you're going to take. Make sure that you are doing just like you would in school, that you're checking your work, that you're not using any calculators or multiplication charts or anything like that. It's straight out your test. Go over the things that you missed, and if you have any questions about things, rewind the video or go back on the YouTube and check it out, or ask your parents about what you don't understand. But remember, on this one, your parents might not understand this idea of moving that over and dropping that 0. Okay, but that's the way we do this. Or we cross off that 0 and bring it down and then do the basic fact over here. All right, so hang in there, guys, and I hope you do well on your test tomorrow.